Welcome, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Man, this weekend we were talking about something very important with this thumbnail. Now, this thumbnail was on Monday's video, but we were talking about certain scenarios and why that MACD really did matter, even over the weekend, reminding you about it on Monday, just in case something like this were to take place. Some of those signals are right here on your screen, and we're going to go over that on the daily chart, on the 2-hour chart, just for a moment here, and say that scenario number one did overall fail to squeeze to the upside on the 30-minute. We can see that in this price action right here. We went down to that weekly expected move, and now we need to get into that technical analysis. But wow, the daily expected moves coming in once again, seeing just like this day, we're able to build back within them. Now we're seeing another move outside of them, and we're building back in those 68% zones. So we're going to get you new updated 68% zones right away in this video and talk about what is going on for tomorrow. Let's get into it. So let's get these things out of the way, and that would be the fact that we did violate a signal on your MACD, but especially violating both of these points here on your RSI does tell you that you still should be looking for you should be looking for bullish trades for the most part, because this is most likely rejecting as we sit here, and we do have that opportunity to squeeze. If this is going to crash in that downward direction, we suggested looking at the 2-hour chart, because the 2-hour chart would have to remake reversal signals as it violated all the signals that we got in here. So be very cautious looking at these things, thinking there is divergence when you just violated one right here on the MACD, but more importantly, you violated both points on the RSI. We've shown this off for a few days now in case this move did happen. Now, our scenario number one was the 30-minute being able to confirm the price action and the RSI doing that, but the lagging indicator not able to confirm in that upward direction. Little surprise coming out in the morning, and that's exactly what we see here. A little surprise in the morning to come down to the weekly expected move, where we did bounce back into the daily expected move. So very, very nice. What does this mean overall with this move? Well, now scenario number one is off of the table, so now we're looking for scenario 2 and 3. And in this area is where that can build up. Notice that the square goes down outside of this zone, probably to include this gap that is down here if we want to make reversal signals, and we're going to go over those in this video. But it is very important to look at this and go, what is going on with the actual divergences? Are they there? They are not there on the RSI and MACD at the same time. Someone could argue that this is a multiple point in some way, but since it is not on the RSI at the same time, I don't hold too much weight into it. That means if the 2-hour is going to tell you that the daily is going to see some disruption, this is the third time or fourth time, I think I've said it in the last 4 days, then you will see a breakdown that is going to roll, or you will see some kind of trap that sets up a new divergence point. So those are the two things that can really give us a hint. If you want an example of when that did happen, notice over here, we did not go make the 2-hour divergence, one of our scenarios in the past, but instead we dumped off. Everyone wanted to call a stock market crash, and we said, wait for the 2-hour roll. This was your opportunity to crash. This was truly an opportunity where the market could vomit, but instead we set up those 2-hour divergences and 30-minute divergences at the same time. And thankfully, we were paying attention to it and saw that bullishness come in, and we saw the retest of those buyers later on. This is fantastic behavior over here, very tricky. This over here is kind of a similar spot where we need to be looking for a 2-hour roll to really say that this is going in the downward direction. So let's take it in stride here and go with the bullish case, because we just said a bunch of the bearish ones, right? We're going to need to see some sort of roll. Let me make sure I didn't move that. Nope, we're good. So we can utilize our daily expected moves and use our skills on the 30-minute chart in this area at that gap even for the next couple of trading sessions to see if this 2-hour is going to be able to do what? Curl up into positive territory, which would be very, very likely for a market that likes to be bullish like 90% of the time. Very, very likely at this point, as we did violate that seriously on the RSI and have to remake those signals. So we're going to look at the 30-minute chart. The daily expected move, 694.78 to the upside, 685.94 to the downside. The data for tomorrow, nothing drastically important apparently, but we do see a curl up of the 30-minute at the end of the day. So what did we do at these points over here, these very key moments, to say if the market was going to head in the upward direction? We look for what? We look for those hints on the 30-minute. If the 2-hour can confirm up or have a high probability to turn up here, then we will see what from the market at this level. you will potentially see some sort of divergence form, maybe taking care of that gap, or we will potentially see a higher low from the overall market to say that that 2 hour is going to head to the upside. Why am I excited about this opportunity compared to at the beginning of the week? Well, because at the beginning of the week, we suggested that if you squeezed up to here and pulled back, you wouldn't have a lot of room for a good 2 hour trade before pulling back again. So the fact that you're doing it now, and if you set those things up, you can see that we would have more room to grow up to that 700, that 702, or even the monthly expected move. I'm not saying that the bearish case isn't there. This is the first thing to happen in order for the bears to have a chance here. But you have to wait for the 2 hour roll. Instead, we should be at this point watching for the potential opportunity to the upside, because the downside opportunity will take time to form. So what we want to see here for your MACD is some kind of higher low or divergence shape down here. We would like to see that on the RSI at the same time. This would be a positive divergence while the price action is overall negative, and that would be absolutely fantastic. It is not a guarantee that this is going to confirm. So the waiting for the confirmation on the MACD is something that I really like to do. The reason that I can wait for a 30-minute to confirm on a MACD is because most of the time I am playing a 2 hour chart to the upside. So I don't mind waiting for the lagging indicator on a 30-minute that is giving me my hints of should I go into that move. That is something I really, really wanted to clear up. Now, in this area, this is going to be very, very important, because a lot of people out there who have been saying stock market crash for the last 4 months on every single curl down of the daily chart are going to most likely utilize this, but ignore the bullishness at the end of the day, ignore that reaction at the end of the day. Once again, coming out on Patreon, I really appreciate my Patreon members who I overall was touching base with here, suggesting that we are almost to the daily expected second standard deviation. So you don't want to be making those huge decisions like stock market crash at a bottom side move when you do have 2 trading sessions left. So in this area, I would really be watching for some kind of higher low. Maybe we even see something like this take place for a higher low, but I would really, really love if we rejected off of that 5-day, we curl to the downside, and we set some kind of Friday trap, because something we know in these areas is 690 to 685. That is right where Max Payne is lying, at least the last time I checked. Maybe I'll check before we talk about the Qs. Really, really quickly for the SPY, the Max Payne now shifted down to around 680, just so you are aware. So in this area, I'd really still be looking for those reversal signals by Friday or Monday of next week. If we go through more disruption, that's perfectly fine, because as of right now, I myself am still being patient, but I'm excited about this because even though I have the baby on the way, even though I'm busier than I've ever been before, this type of price action can make it so I can actually take a pretty simple trade. So I'm very excited about this. So we're going to get into the Qs and we're going to get into the VIX, okay? And if you guys want, actually at the very end of this video, I can describe the exact kind of plan for the trade going into the SPY. We do see that from the QQQs, we do see a big drop here. We see that the MACD was able to go extremely negative, right? The last time that we were at these levels, we were seeing some very bearish things, if you would like to say that, but we did form somewhat of divergences there on your RSI. The truth is, in these markets, you have to pay attention to any kind of bullish signal, and you do put more weight into bullish signals than bearish ones pretty much all the time, because most of the time, the market will remain bullish. It will remain, irrational for longer than you can remain solvent. So something very, very likely here is what? Well, the daily expected moves of 625.64 for your 68% zone for tomorrow, 613.46 to the downside. It is very likely that in order to turn up this 2-hour chart while it is by the center line, as the Qs did violate on the MACD but did not on the RSI, double checking because I can't remember yesterday's, yes, not violating on the RSI, we can see that the 2-hour chart would need to curl up here. We would need to see the 2-hour curl up before it is able to go seriously negative. Now, I wanted to say one more thing. Even if you go pretty negative, watch for those 30-minute signals and see if we can take back the 5-day. Because even when we do go pretty negative, you can still make those reversal signals as long as you're not seeing something pretty massive. So we're going to do our homework on the 30-minute chart. This means if we wanted a reaction to the upside tomorrow, we could get that relief into another sell-off, coming down into lower prices, right? Coming into the gap fill down in these areas. If we wanted to create that divergence, make sure to wait for confirmation, right? That is the whole point of technical analysis, is to make what someone was emailing me about was rules, but I call them reasons for a trade. My reason for the trade isn't the fact that a divergence has formed. A reason for the trade would be that it has confirmed. That is when I execute on those things. So I wanted to point that out. This means the Qs are in the same boat as the SPY. You have some critical levels for tomorrow, and in order to see if this high can get retested, you need that 2-hour to turn up, which means most likely the 30-minute will need some kind of higher low. The 30-minute will need some kind of divergence to give you those hints. And that would be a great setup right there. If we get some kind of divergence, I will tell you that. So thank you guys so much for watching the Qs portion. Let's go over into volatility. Then we'll talk about the SPY in that little trade for a moment. Now, the VIX is suggesting some things. It's suggesting that scenario 3, meaning the bearish roll, can happen, but we have to see if we actually get that to form over the next couple of trading sessions. As of right now, what you would say from volatility is the fact that a double dip is very, very likely for the market, as the 30-minute is very positive here with no reversal signals at this point. That means you will need to see the opposite from the VIX to suggest that this is going to head in a downward direction. Notice we were never able to fully curl down on the 30-minute, but extend. And today, you got a very low percentage move. So the most likely scenario did not happen. You're going to run into times where that happens. That's why we were suggesting being careful when you do have data coming out the next day. And this is all due to decision making. That's why we even mentioned the possible not management of the trade, but managing your risk with position size in yesterday's video. But the 30-minute chart, if that is able to curl up into positive territory, we would expect a bit more selling. But note that volatility has gone up on days that the market has gone up. So we're going to have to see how this shapes up. The risky thing for the market, let me tell you the risky thing while I do have time to talk about it, is if the 2-hour is able to make another higher low. If the 2-hour is able to make another higher low down here by, say, Friday and be curling to the upside, you would be a bit cautious with that. That would mean that you are going to see another positive move in positive territory. I don't think you want to see another curl up for this 30-minute or for the 2-hour chart. I think you want to see this 2-hour chart not be able to curl up. And that means you are looking for a divergence here from the 30-minute in the next couple of trading sessions, or you are looking for a 30-minute lower high, in my opinion. We do see that the daily chart has crossed above these levels. Something we were talking about here was the fact that what could happen here, we could make this type of structure, right? This is one of our scenarios where we can get that bigger pullback later on. So we'll see if something like this is able to form, but keep the divergence play on the table as the MACD remains in negative territory. Now we've taken you through volatility. I'm sorry I'm having to go through it a little bit quickly, but I'm going to go over the SPY and talk about what trade I'm exactly talking about in the future if we are able to see these things form. So the trade that I'm overall getting at here is the trade to potentially 700, or even the trade to actually the monthly expected move. If I can catch a trade down in here at around, say, this high, and I can see if we're going to make this move up to the monthly expected move, this little extension here, that will be a decent amount of room. That means by the end of the month, we can see something like a 14-point move from the SPY. That's a pretty good amount of trade for the 2-hour chart. So what I want to make sure to do is see if the 2-hour is highly probable to turn up. So am I going to swing trade this? Well, some people can swing trade it. You can see if the 2-hour is able to confirm up. You can see if that confirms up into positive territory. But by the time this is confirming, you might be at a little bit higher levels. So what I like to do is I like to look for the 30-minute for hints, especially if it shows me a divergence, because then I can grab that down at low levels and turn a 12 to 14 point move into maybe an 18-point move at that point. So what I want to look for is the 30-minute, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the confirmations I would like to see. The reason, once again, that I can look for the lagging indicator to actually confirm before I take that 2-hour trade, right? Technically, I'm taking a 2-hour extension trade, right? So before I take that, I can look at the 30-minute and I can use those confirmations because I am going down. I don't care if it's a little laggy on the 30-minute because I can go down into a lower time frame. I'm immediately going to be in the trade before the 2-hour curls up, and I will use my management of risk. I will have my plan for if the trade goes wrong. So if the 30-minute is able to form a higher low, I can get in at these levels. If the 30-minute is able to make a divergence, which I would love to see, we can react up to here and roll, coming down to maybe take care of that gap, and we actually see that divergence confirm, meaning the MACD does cross its actual signal line here, then I can potentially have a trade setup. And I can have my 3 to 5 reasons for a trade and treat this very seriously. Now, this is going to be a great little setup, but I want to make sure to understand what's going on in my life. I want to make sure to understand what's going on with my finances myself. So, what is my regular amount that I like to use for a trade? And then what I like to do is I like to take that certain amount, a percentage of your account. That's what I use for options. And what I like to do is overall look at it and say, if I have 3 reasons, I'm willing to risk this amount. If I have 4 reasons, I'm willing to risk this amount. If I have 5 reasons, I'm willing to risk this amount. And the 5 reasons would be the highest. So you have to look at what's going on with that. And then at the same time, I know that in my personal life, I am on the verge still of having a baby and I'm having to help a lot around the house. So that tells me maybe I don't want to risk a bunch of money in case I get busy for a moment and miss a rejection or something like that. So taking all those things into account, that would just tell me maybe I want to use a manageable risk, right? I want to use a lower amount. I want to maybe treat this like a 3 reasons for a trade. I want to wait for those confirmations, and then I want to see if I can catch that extension to next week's weekly expected move. And maybe I will just take profit early on that, as I will be very busy. This is me just walking through my mentality before I even get set up for a trade, right? None of this stuff is happening, but notice I'm prepping my mentality days in advance, days and days in advance. And then I can prep my mentality the other way. Maybe we'll do the bearish way in tomorrow or the next day's video, whenever I can put out another one. But I wanted to go through that in this video because it can be this simple. I know I have to go through it pretty quickly, but it can be as simple as that. Look for the things to set up. And if those things set up and they confirm, then I look at how much money I would like to risk. And you should have some good management of risk processes there. We do have some management of risk things that I say that I like to do according to the percentage of your account and things like that. We talk about those things in the full technical analysis course. And I just walked you through a lot of things that I talk about for lengthy periods of time in the full technical analysis course. We go through examples and things like that, but I wanted to do this in this video to really help you guys out in case you are still struggling with those things. So right now, we will look what the market shapes up. If the bear case starts to come up, we will look into that. But if we see a 30-minute divergence, if we see a 30-minute higher low, then we need to probably be paying attention to that 700 level by the end of January. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I'm busier and busier every day, and it's about to get even busier. So I do appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. You guys are always fantastic about that. I hope you guys have a great, great, great rest of your week, and trade like water. You know, that's the best way to be. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.